stacks, making mad bands in the land. It's the land of the drought, I don't really mean to shout, but my clout's so loud when I walk in the room, eardrums burst out. I'm the first one in and the last one out. Wanna know what I'm about, my family, my paper, my mouth speaks true, and the truth bleeds through any lies. Wonder why you without a clue, grow the love up, I'ma do me, and you learn how to do you. You like glass, I can see through you, lifting the bar to a whole different altitude. We are just addicts with attitude. We taking over your longitude, latitude map. You are not grabbing the magnitude.
There ain't nothing you can do to us. We've been through enough. Baby, it's just like we've been riding up under a spell. Can't say nothing that get through to us, cause we knew enough. We just wanted company when we wasn't help. This ain't nothing new to us. We've been through the rough. Now we finally made it out of all the struggles we held. We just wanna keep our head above water. We don't wanna bother. We just tryna stay out of hell, yeah.
This is our homage to the haters, we the greatest. We don't fade away, we get darker the harder we go. We just make the paper, the bark is so quiet. The bite severs heads with the blood, let it flow. You already know that a killer move in silence. When it's quiet, better watch your back. You can lose yourself and your life on the track. You can lose your mind, never finding it back. To the lesson at hand, addict mafia, backstacks, making mad bands in the land. It's the land of the drought, I don't really mean to shout, but my clout's so loud when I walk in the room, eardrums burst out. I'm the first one in and the last one out. Wanna know what I'm about, my family, my paper, my mouth speaks true, and the truth bleeds through any lies. Wonder why you without a clue, grow the love up, I'ma do me, and you learn how to do you. You like glass, I can see through you, lifting the bar to a whole different altitude. We are just addicts with attitude. We taking over your longitude, latitude map. You are not grabbing the magnitude.
There ain't nothing you can do to us. We've been through enough. Baby, it's just like we've been riding up under a spell. Can't say nothing that get through to us, cause we knew enough. We just wanted company when we wasn't help. This ain't nothing new to us. We've been through the rough. Now we finally made it out of all the struggles we held. We just wanna keep our head above water. We don't wanna bother. We just tryna stay out of hell, yeah.
This is our homage to the haters, we the greatest. We don't fade away, we get darker the harder we go. We just make the paper, the bark is so quiet. The bite severs heads with the blood, let it flow. You already know that a killer move in silence. When it's quiet, better watch your back. You can lose yourself and your life on the track. You can lose your mind, never finding it back. To the lesson at hand, addict mafia, backstacks, making mad bands in the land. It's the land of the drought, I don't really mean to shout, but my clout's so loud when I walk in the room, eardrums burst out. I'm the first one in and the last one out. Wanna know what I'm about, my family, my paper, my mouth speaks true, and the truth bleeds through any lies. Wonder why you without a clue, grow the love up, I'ma do me, and you learn how to do you. You like glass, I can see through you, lifting the bar to a whole different altitude. We are just addicts with attitude. We taking over your longitude, latitude map. You are not grabbing the magnitude.
There ain't nothing you can do to us. We've been through enough. Baby, it's just like we've been riding up under a spell. Can't say nothing that get through to us, cause we knew enough. We just wanted company when we wasn't help. This ain't nothing new to us. We've been through the rough. Now we finally made it out of all the struggles we held. We just wanna keep our head above water. We don't wanna bother. We just tryna stay out of hell, yeah.
Yo, what it do, man? This is Triggered with Triggered. I know that it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you guys, but I'm back. I almost broke my foot. I was in the hospital for a couple of other things, health issues, but I'm 100% now, and we're back. So the electrifying story right now is the Karmelo Anthony story. On April 2nd, 2025, in Frisco, Texas, high school track meet. At a Frisco, Texas high school track meet, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, a senior at Frisco Centennial High School, fatally stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, a junior at Frisco Memorial High School, and it happened at Kuykendall Stadium during a heated argument. Police say Austin told Karmelo to leave Memorial's team tent, sparking a dispute. Witnesses claim Karmelo pulled a knife, warned Austin not to touch him, and stabbed him once in the chest. After Austin grabbed him, Austin died in his twin brother's arms. Karmelo stayed at the scene admitted to the stabbing, and is now claiming self-defense. He also asked if Austin would be okay, and he was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. All right. I'm gonna pull up the police report right now. So this story has gotten national attention, and not for nothing, but it's it's really heartbreaking to see the way that people are reacting to this because the race baiters and the race grifters are out in full force right now. Black Lives Matter has gotten a hold of this, um, and and several different organizations connected to the NAACP. So let me go ahead and share this, guys. So, damn it. Here we have at 1001 hours, Stanley course or I Staley School Resource Officer heard over the radio dispatch call about a stabbing. Immediately left my office, ran across the middle school parking lot towards the southwest entrance. I could see the Memorial High School tent with multiple individuals under the tent. Once I arrived onto the north side bleachers, an adult male who was on the track pointed out a suspect. I was not able to identify that witness. The individual that was pointed out to me was a black male wearing a gray hooded sweater and dark colored Nike pants. The suspect at this point was on the track on the north end. There was a chain link fence that separated me from the suspect. I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air during this time. The suspect said verbally out loud, "I was protecting myself." It should be noted that I had not questioned him about the incident when he made that comment. I asked him if he had any weapons, and he said no. I patted him down for weapons while we were walking along the fence, and I did not locate any on his person. I instructed the male to continue walking along the fence, which he complied, towards an area where there was an opening in the fence that led off the track. While walking him off the track, the suspect also said he put his hands on me. I then detained the suspect in handcuffs, handcuffed behind his back, had him sit down on the ground. Officer Ricci had arrived at the scene at this time. I conducted another pat down of this person and searched this person after he gave me consent. No weapons were located. While the suspect sat on the ground, I advised that I had the alleged suspect. The suspect then responds and says, "I am not alleged. I did it." Next, Officer Ricci and I walked the suspect to patrol vehicle 2412. This is Officer Ricci's patrol vehicle, which was on the northeast gate of Kyra Kendall Stadium. As we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said he put his hands on me. I told him not to. I did not question the suspect about the incident while he was escorted to the patrol vehicle. I searched this person once again, and I had him sit in the backseat area of Patrol 2412. While the suspect was in the backseat, I noticed fresh blood on his left middle finger. I verbally acknowledged that I saw the blood out loud so that it would be captured on my body-worn camera. It should also be noted that the suspect asked me, "Is he going to be okay?" while I was in the back seat. I then identified the suspect. He provided his name and date of birth verbally as Karmelo Anthony with a date of birth, which I ran through FPD dispatch. All right, so let me see if they question anybody here. yeah. So let's go ahead and see. So I know that his brother, he died in his brother's arms. And there's been a lot of controversy, guys. First of all, let's be clear. Carmelo Anthony did not belong under the opposing team's tent. Um, the Metcalf's team was visiting Carmelo Anthony's team. Um,
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So, just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
It was just senseless.
it was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid.
so yeah, that's Austin's brother talking about the incident as it happened in real time. Um, and I really want to talk about the like opportunities that Carmelo Anthony had to de-escalate the situation. And a lot of people are saying self-defense. I don't believe that self-defense is going to work unless they get a jury that is like woke or pro BLM or something like that, where they make it about race. Because at this point, the truth of the matter is that they've gotten this story, they've gotten national attention, they've gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars off this story. And just imagine, um, most humans that are in the middle class and below, they don't make $400,000 in their lifetime. Okay, maybe the Anthony family is well off, maybe it's not, but I know that maybe in my lifetime, because I'm a businessman, maybe I've made $1 million already this in my life. But most human beings, they don't see 400 grand in their lifetime. Um, you know what I'm saying? And let's say murder, you get 20 years. Okay, if you divide the 400 grand between 20 years, um, that's like getting paid a yearly, crazy yearly wage. But man, I have actually. I'm gonna go get it. I got some coffee, and I know that you guys can still hear me. I gotta pour my coffee. Um, I have. Goodness gracious. All right, I'm back. I'm back. So, guys, before I get into the grift, because let's be very clear, the representation of the Anthony family are grifters. This is all being turned into a for-profit scheme. Um, Murder. It's murder for money. In my opinion, it's murder for money. If you pay a murderer after he kills someone, it's literally you're murdering for money. So let me go ahead and look this up because um, and I know it's a lot of man. I'm trying to talk more often when I'm like in between doing stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So let me go in here. So first of all, just so that you guys know, school shootings, stabbings, and weapon incidents, they happen much, much less than you think. Um, the schools have, over time, locked down the school, even to the point where even parents don't have a lot of access to the schools. Um, I remember when my son went to Pivot High School, they were feeding him all this woke crap. And, like, they wouldn't allow me in the school. Like, they stopped me in the front. I couldn't go to see where my kid learns, where he eats, nothing. But you're more likely to be at a school with a gun incident, okay, than to be struck by lightning, right? Or be in a plane crash. Um, the individual student risk in this country right now for gun or knife violence is 0.07%. That's 0.07%. So the likelihood of your child being involved in a gun or weapon incident at the school is literally 0.07%. So why is this particular story being highlighted so much? It's a grain of sand in the beach, but there's a big spotlight. And I'll tell you why. Because that's how the money comes. And I'm gonna tell you guys about the grift very soon. Um, what I'm trying to do right now is find this report that I have about de-escalation. So basically, Anthony had many, many times to de-escalate, and he just chose not to. I'm trying to find it, guys. I'm trying to find it. History, history, history. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All right, so maybe I lost it. Mm, ah, this is not it either. Well, guys, long story short, let me just get right to it, okay? the points in which um, now, all right, just send a little email during my live. All right. So, pretty much the altercation began, and here goes the de escalation opportunities. All right. The initial request to move, okay? He could have avoided provocative language. This is the first step, right? And de-escalation, because he was escalating. He was not de-escalating, okay? Metcalf asked Anthony to leave the high school tent. Anthony was from a different school. He didn't belong under the tent. He had clear signage of the opposing team, okay? So this right here, it is instigation, okay? I don't care what you say, it's instigation. Um, People are saying it was raining so much. People are trying to get out of the rain. I have only seen fake accounts talking about the rain. The rain hasn't been a crazy factor in the stories when I'm seeing them and reading them when the witnesses are describing what happens. Instead of responding with a challenging or confrontational statement, Anthony could have used neutral cooperative language such as, okay, I'll move, or I didn't realize this was your team's tent. This aligns with de escalation principles of staying calm and avoiding language that escalates tension. The threatening tone and gesture likely heightened Metcalf's perception of the challenge, setting a confrontational tone. Non threatening communication could have diffused the initial tension. So that's part one. That's the first time Carmelo Anthony could have changed this entire situation. Now goes to physical contact. After Anthony's comment, Metcalf reportedly touched or grabbed Anthony to move him. A witness stated Anthony then dared Metcalf to punch him and see what happens, further escalating the verbal challenge. Okay? That's escalation two. All right? When Metcalf made physical contact, Anthony could have chosen to disengage by stepping away or verbally acknowledging the request to move, such as, all right, I'm going. De escalation involves maintaining composure even when provoked and avoiding actions that invite further conflict. By issuing another challenge, Anthony intensified the situation, potentially prompting Metcalf to escalate physically. Disengaging physically or verbally could have prevented the situation from reaching a point of no return. All right. Now, number three, when Metcalf grabs Anthony to move him, Anthony allegedly pulls out a knife, okay, and stabs Metcalf once in the chest before fleeing. This happened so fast that the brother literally whipped around and his brother was stabbed. Austin Metcalf died in the hands of his brother, bleeding to death. It's very sad. Now, instead of resorting to a knife, Anthony could have chosen nonviolent alternatives, such as continuing to move away, seeking help from a coach or official nearby, or using verbal assertiveness without a weapon, like, I'm leaving, let go. De escalation prioritizes nonviolent resolutions and avoiding lethal force unless absolutely necessary. Introducing a weapon was the ultimate escalation, turning a verbal and minor physical dispute into a fatal incident. Even if Anthony felt threatened, seeking help or retreating could have avoided violence. Legal experts have noted that claiming self defense may be challenging since Metcalf was unarmed and provocation could undermine Anthony's defense. So, first things first, he could have never gone to that tent in the first place to start trouble. Because let's be clear, Carmelo Anthony went under the tent to start trouble. Okay? He went there because he didn't belong there. He went there to instigate. Okay? That's number one. Number one, he went there to instigate. Number two, he sat in their area knowing he didn't belong there, knowing they were going to try to remove him or make him move. Okay? Number three, when asked to move, he verbally says, like, pretty much go fuck yourself. Okay? Number four, okay? Austin Metcalf touches him. All right? Then he dares him to punch him, puts his hand in the bag. And I don't know how much force it takes to go through the bone into the heart, but it takes a lot of force. Okay? And I don't care if he had a knife, if he had a butcher's knife, if he had a cleat sharpener. I don't care what it was. It went through Austin Metcalf's heart and took his life on that fateful day. Okay? Before the stabbing, the interaction involved the back and forth where both teams were escalating verbally and physically. No reports indicate either sought intervention from others present, such as teammates or coaches during the weather delay at the track meet. Anthony could have sought mediation by involving a neutral party, such as a coach, teammate, or event official, to resolve the dispute over the tent. But he didn't call an official because he was trying to start a fight and he was trying to start trouble. And let me look it up, bro. How much force is needed? Stab through human heart. Determination. Let's see. Determination of the force required to produce stab wounds in fruit compared to a cadaveric test. In layman's terms, man, like, I be feeling like just asking Grok everything now. Let's ask Grok. What does Grok say? I had a much better report for you guys about the de-escalation thing, but I feel like I have lost it. Yeah, I lost it. So there was plenty of times for Anthony to de-escalate, okay? But here's the force. Determining the force required to stab someone in the chest, penetrate hard, complex, violent command. Okay, let's go to the nitty gritty. In the incident involving Carmelo Anthony, reports suggest a single chest stab with a knife likely penetrating the heart or a medul vessel, given the fatal outcome. Assuming a sharp, narrow blade and a direct thrust between ribs, the force required would likely be on the lower 10 to 30 newtons, achievable with moderate effort. Penetrating the chest to reach the heart with a sharp knife requires 10 to 50 newtons for a direct thrust through soft tissue, potentially more if bone is encountered. Okay, so it's in the capability of most individuals to stab someone in the heart. My actual question, because all right, so I'm just gonna touch on this really quickly because I've seen the responses to this story, and so many people are racially charged. They're still reeling from the past 2 to 4 years where they've been mentally manipulated by the media, by social media, and by different efforts to become, like, let's say, race hustlers and grifters. Um, Social media group dynamics amplify praise for controversial figures in polarizing settings. Okay. Um, Posts on X in the community discusses might frame Anthony as a victim of circumstance or systemic issues, with supporters amplifying this narrative, praising him as a misunderstood figure rather than a perpetrator. Okay. Um, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Carmelo Anthony was not a model student, bro. If you say he was a straight A student, I'm not gonna believe it until you show me the report card. Okay, and so many people are going as far as to even say that his social media pictures are fake. Guys, you can't fake Time Machine whatsoever. And the race grifters are out there in full force. They're making this a black versus white thing, and it is disgusting. It is disgusting. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
Home warranty.
This is Austin Metcalf's dad being removed from a Carmelo Anthony press conference. Physically removed. They physically removed him. Now, I'm gonna be clear. Austin Metcalf's dad didn't belong there. Okay, he was physically removed from there, and he's actually the GOAT for that because he's also been, like, this family has been going through it, bro. The Metcalf family has been going through it, bro. So after they escort him out of the press conference, garbage. The whole family's garbage, especially this guy, Dominique, Grifter. They haven't been under attack. They've just been getting rich. Look at the husband. What a cuck. I didn't think anybody had a higher hairline than me. Now they're represented by the Next Generation Action Network. Let's take a look at Next Generation Action Network, okay? Where we stand. For the People Act. In recent weeks, lawmakers in 43 states have introduced provisions designed to restrict voting access for their own constituents. These lawmakers seek to limit early voting periods and end weekend voting, limit mail in voting, and require that ballots be notarized, also known as a poll tax, and end 24-hour ballot drop off boxes. Well, Next Generation Action Network, for the people, I don't think they're really for the people. Um, so let's be clear here. They're against ending early voting, weekend voting, mail-in voting, and they love the 24-hour ballot drop-off boxes. This is the only way that the people connected to the Next Generation Action Network will go ahead and get voted into different positions because they use immigrants and fake IDs and dead people to vote for themselves. Then we have justice in policing. The list of POC who have been murdered by police is endless. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Walter Scott, Laquan McDonald, and hundreds more. Summer of 2020 saw a mass movement come to life as people across the world took to the streets and demanded reforms to the way communities are policed. We demand a more progressive approach to policing in black and brown communities. Next Generation Action Network, I'm not represented by them. I'm brown. Raise the Wage Act. They want 15 an hour. Okay. In the news, let's see. Commemorating George Floyd's death, the man that died of an overdose under the knee of Derek Chauvin. All right. I'm going to go. So the bread and butter of the next Generation Action Network is let's make this about race. This was a white boy that got killed by a black kid. The black kid is being persecuted by the society and by the government because he's black and not because he killed someone and he's a murderer. It's because he's black. And this is fucked up, bro. If you really think this is a black and white thing, bro, you're just an idiot. You're retarded as fuck. So let's see what Metcalf's dad has to say about it. Okay.
Are you looking to create authentic pay stubs for proof of
Oh, well,
income?
Dallas Morning
The pay
News. Thank
stubs
you
lets
for
you
the
create.
great ad.
Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today. Yes, I am, sir. That's called white guilt. No, let it talk. You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir.
That's fucked up. But just to be clear, bro, is the dad is shooting down the race hustlers. It's not about black and white. This was a verbal altercation that became physical. Um, Listen, you can't go into someone's personal space, bro, and just occupy that space and not expect that person or the people around there that you're occupying their space to tell you to not tell you to move. And the people that are saying self-defense, I really pray for you because you're part of the problem in this country of the mental illness that's going on. If you say Austin Metcalf deserved what he got, you're just a piece of shit. You have no morals, no values. And the fake morals and values that have been bestowed upon you by the people that brainwashed you to this point in your life, um, it's all fake. It's not going to serve you in life. It's it's going to be detrimental to you at some point in your life. And I know this for a fact. Um, and it's just so sad. Race war. Look at this millionaire morning show with Anton Daniels. He calls it a race war. 2 killed, 6 injured. It's a race war. Unnecessary race war.
My hope was to bring awareness so this tragedy doesn't happen to another family.
Okay, so Mr. Metcalf, it's JFF and then METCALF. You are Austin's father.
Yes, sir.
Easy question to start with. It's probably a tough one to answer, but how have the last 24 hours been for you and for your family and for Hunter?
That's 3 questions. So for me, it's not real yet. It hasn't sunk in. I'm just happy to stay strong so we can handle all the things that need to be handled. Arrangements, people flying in, people coming from all over. So I haven't had a chance to really grieve yet. I know at some point when this is all over and we're able to put him in the ground, then I'll probably break down and grieve that way. But right now I'm really numb and I really don't feel anything. I just have to function, and I need to be there for my son and my family, and I need to make sure I set an example for my son.
Austin obviously is the son, and also Hunter, who you're talking about here.
Yes, sir.
Walk me through who Austin was to you. I know that you've said so much about him, I think, in the last 24 hours here. Everyone else has said a lot about him, too, about how great of a kid he was. In your eyes, though, just as a father, who was he to you?
My boys are the biggest blessing in my life. God provided them to me. God's going to get me through this. I had a dream last night, and Austin came to me and said, I'm okay. It gives me peace. Doesn't mean I don't hurt. but it gives me great peace. So one of the things, my son, Hunter, his ability to stay strong is a character to his brother. His brother, they had each other's back. They were tight. I've never seen a bond like that. Being identical twins, technically Austin was his big brother. Those boys were my everything. I had cancer almost 10 years ago. I wasn't supposed to live, but that was my why, to fight. And without those boys, I probably would have succumbed and gave in. But they were in my heart, and I fought hard because I wanted to be their father. I wanted to be there for them throughout the years they grow up, and so I can share my wisdom and share my mistakes so they won't do the same. Austin was an outstanding athlete, person, friend, loyal, loving. He would light up the room. He was such a leader naturally. On that team, he would fire those guys up. He would step on that field and he would become a totally different person. His level of play was above most everyone else. He led the team. He was voted team MVP by his coaches and teammates. He's had multiple coaches, colleges contact him. He is one of the most outstanding, him and his brother both have been athletes all their lives, from soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu to football. They did it all, and they excelled every time. And I told them, you guys are so lucky because not everyone has your talent, but you have to make sure you take that talent and harness it in the right way. And Austin was able to harness many things in his life. Loyalty to his brother, his love for all his friends and family. He was such an outstanding young man. I was so proud. I bragged on my children all the time. Anyone who knows me knows how much my kids meant to me. They were my entire world. My world's a little shattered.
Damn. That's a tough break, bro. So, I was talking earlier about the conflict escalation model. Stage 1, verbal tension. Metcalf tells Anthony to leave the Memorial High School tent, likely asserting team boundaries. Anthony responds with, touch me and see what happens, escalating the verbal exchange with a challenge. Witnesses suggest they didn't know each other, ruling out prior animosity. Also, just to be clear, Metcalf's dad said a statement as well. This is not about race. Unfortunately, the Anthony representation is making it about race, and it's fucked up. Metcalf's request to leave was authoritative but not inherently threatening. Anthony's response, a direct challenge, heightened tension, suggesting readiness to escalate. If mutual combat was implied, like they were both posturing for a fight, then they both contributed to this stage. Metcalf could have softened his approach. This is our team's tent. Please use yours. Or sought a coach's intervention. Also, Anthony could have complied or calmly defended his presence. I'm just waiting out the rain. Both missed chances to diffuse verbally. The verbal challenge sets the stage for physical conflict. The responsibility is shared there, but Anthony's provocation statement leans towards greater escalation intent. So they both, at this point, don't decide to end the conflict. But as far as levels, Austin was here, and then it went up, Anthony went up a little, a step further. Anthony reaches into the bag, signaling potential violence, escalating beyond verbal threats. Metcalf's possible advance contributes to the tension. This stage is critical as Anthony's gesture foreshadows lethal intent. His gesture shadows lethal intent. So touch me to see what happens, and you have your hand on the knife in the bag. That's lethal intent. That's premeditation. Anthony could have kept his hands visible or left the tent. Metcalf could have backed off or called for assistance. Both chose confrontational stances, so they both didn't de-escalate on the second. Anthony bears more responsibility for the threatening gesture, which hints at weapon use, though Metcalf's failure to disengage shares the blame. So this is a second time where both of them could have de-escalated, okay? But the thing that people are failing, well, what not people are failing, is that Anthony didn't belong under the tent, and it wasn't because he was black. It was because he was on the opposing team, and he was wearing gear of the opposing team. Then we have minor physical contact. So this is the number three. This is number three, the third chance for both of them to end and disengage the conflict. Metcalf pushes or grabs Anthony to move him from the tent, aligning with low-level, non-lethal physical action. Metcalf crosses into physical violence, making him the first to initiate contact. This aligns with Anthony's challenge of touch me, suggesting Metcalf accepted the escalation. In mutual combat, such contact might be expected, but no evidence confirms an explicit agreement. Metcalf could have avoided touching Anthony, seeking help from a coach or teammate. Anthony could have retreated after the verbal exchange instead of inviting physicality. The push triggers Anthony's response, moving the conflict to a critical juncture. Now, in this third opportunity, Metcalf, for initiating physical contact, is the aggressor at this particular stage, though Anthony's provocative posturing invited the response. So the response wouldn't have existed if Anthony didn't say, touch me to see what happens. Then we have stage 4, the aggressive physicality, okay? The incident, all right, so they didn't reach aggressive physicality. It doesn't involve the stage because it's Metcalf's push is immediately followed by Anthony's knife use. So we're gonna go to number five. Number 5, all right, escalation. Anthony's use of a knife is a dramatic escalation to lethal force, disproportionate to Metcalf's push. So you're talking a stab to the heart, killing someone, versus a push to the shoulder or chest. Self-defense requires a reasonable belief of imminent serious harm, but a single push rarely justifies a knife, especially without evidence of a greater threat. The rapid move from stage 3 to stage 5 suggests premeditation or overreaction, as Anthony had the knife ready. So either he planned the whole thing was planned, like, I'm going to go under the opposing team's tent, I'm going to pick a fight with somebody, and I'm stabbing them in the heart. Or he's just trying to get out of the rain. He's finally dry, he's under a tent, and now they're telling him, get back in the rain. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's feeling threatened. Maybe he's feeling threatened. But as far as I know, it's not like they surrounded him. Only Austin was the one that had came to him. So in this particular stage, Anthony bears a primary responsibility for escalating to lethal force, which appears excessive given the context. A push versus a knife to the chest. Okay? So you have Anthony's verbal challenge, stage 1, Anthony's posturing, stage 2, then Metcalf's push, and then Anthony's knife. So touch me and see what happens. That's stage 1. And it invites the physicality, setting a confrontational tone. Touch me and see what happens. Number 2, reaches into the bag while issuing the challenge, suggests potential violence, premeditated violence, escalating the tension. Stage 3, Metcalf pushes him, initiates physical contact, making Metcalf the first to cross into violence, though within non-lethal bounds. The critical escalation jumped from minor contact to lethal force, likely disproportionate and unjustified, unless Metcalf posed a clear lethal threat, which is not supported by any evidence whatsoever. Okay? Now, The race baiters and grifters, and even the mentally ill parents, like Carmelo Anthony's parents, that are profiteering off of the death of Austin Metcalf as we speak. In this very moment, they're generating dollars off the death of Austin Metcalf, and it's sickening, it's disgusting, it's so irreputable. It's freaking gross, man. All right. The grift begins. Carmelo's bond started at $1 million. Okay, that $1 million was the money ticket for the family. Why? Because first off, who's the judge? Let me look at this judge, because I know for a fact that this judge is a woke judge. So this is the judge that reduced Carmelo Anthony's sentence from 1 million, and this is for murder. $1 million is like the standard for murder, but the social pressure, the BLM activists, the race baiters, and the grifters, they have all put so much pressure on the system to change the way that the Anthony trial is going. It's already happened already, where they changed his bond from $1 million to $150,000 or $250,000. But I'm gonna go ahead and play
now when we can have summer
judge.
interns come up, and they are every race, creed, color, gender, but they can see someone that looks like them on the bench. I think that is so beneficial because it's representation. And when they look at me, young kids, law students, whoever it is, I want them to say, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Video was recording.
Yes, they have collective video.
So it is video of the incident?
Yes, they have collective video.
Okay.
This is the main grifter right here, Dominique.
There's video.
Permanique.
They verify.
Where your perm at? He switched from the pimp aura to the
Carmelo, why were you armed at
activist
school?
aura.
Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Excuse me. Every Texan has the right
This guy's
to
garbage
defend
too.
themselves when they reasonably fear for their life.
Piece of shit.
Self-defense is a protection that applies to each and every one of us.
Excuse me,
there
Jesus
are two sides
Lord.
to every story. And Carmelo is a 17-year-old kid and an excellent student.
I jumped for joy when I heard the news earlier today, because Carmelo Anthony deserves to be at home with his family. He was put in a tough situation, and as a 17-year-old child, he acted out of fear. And I just don't understand how y'all cannot see that.
The moment I found out about the Carmelo Anthony's
really
case
hope
in
these
Frisco,
women don't have
Texas,
children.
this was my first thoughts. My very first thoughts. Anybody that has ever been in Frisco, stayed in Arlington, Dallas area, just no Texas, period. Frisco don't like us like that.
Don't like
Nothing
us
else really
and
matters. That's why,
them,
in my
us
opinion, we
and
learned of
them.
who he was.
Making it about race is
And this
disgusting,
picture was on the
bro.
internet less than 24 to 48 hours. This is why the racism is at an all-time high. It was in Frisco, Texas.
'Cause
It
you're
don't
pushing
even
it.
matter if it was self-defense or not. If the county itself is racist.
I'm just trying to figure out, why do everybody act like they know what happened?
That's sad, bro.
Like, who knows what happened?
We just know you at a track meet, somebody got stabbed.
So, back to the grift, guys. The Anthony family. All right. So they slashed it to 250 on April 14th, letting him walk free on house arrest with an ankle monitor. Meanwhile, the Anthony family launched a Give, Send, Go fundraiser, raking in nearly $450,000 by mid-April. Okay. They pitched it as a legal defense fund, but here's the kicker. Now they're changing it up and admitting that it's not just for lawyers, it's covering their living expenses, their rent, their bills, and a safe relocation to California mansion, right? Posts on X erupted, accusing them of buying a $900,000 mansion. They're not buying it, they're leasing it, and a luxury SUV. They actually bought 3 luxury SUVs, with some claiming they're living large while Austin's family grieves. The family denies withdrawing funds, and Gifts and Go's co-founder confirmed no money was distributed as of April 16, but the public's not buying it. Why switch a defense fund to a lifestyle fund? That's the most disgusting thing ever, bro. So they convince you guys to donate money for the Karmelo Defense Fund, but now they're living large off the money that you guys gave them. So basically, bro, they changed it up completely, bro. They switched it from the defense fund to a living fund, and the Anthony family's team reeks of scams. Their attorney, Kim T. Cole, is tied to the Next Generation Action Network. I just showed you that. A BLM supporting group. They support George Floyd, kicking pregnant women in the stomach, overdosing on fentanyl, and then making people heroes like Karmelo Anthony, killed a child. And now they're like, wow, we have a new poster boy so that we can gain attention and money from potential donors. This is like the biggest grift ever. The Next Generation Action Network, Black Lives Matter movement, anything that is connected, the NAACP, bro, this is all grifters, bro. They're all literally just making money off of Democrats' emotions and race baiting and trying to create race wars to literally generate funds for their lifestyles. If you look at the top leaders of these organizations, they live large, dude. They make mad loot, okay? And they're all in charge of like nonprofit organizations, guys. Anyways, their spokesperson, Dominique Alexander, is an activist with a rap sheet: convictions for fraud, domestic violence, and violently shaking a baby. A baby, guys. Okay? Ex-post claim Alexander's BLM ties and alleged affair with a police chief during protests point to a history of manipulating narratives for profit. These are all unverified, but critics say the family's leaning on Alexander's clout to milk donations, with some calling it a BLM-style fundraising scam. Like Sir Major Page's $400,000 fraud, the Anthonys stand by their team, but the stench of grift is hard to ignore when your minister has so many convictions of fraud. Okay? Okay. Here goes the conservative time. All right.
Time.
Yeah, got a show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
And you know what it is. Tweet A, tapping in. Anybody who fuck with me for my music, you got Karmelo Anthony, man. Justice for my dog. Website coming soon. You gotta tap in, man. Yeah.
You know how stupid you got to be outside and it's nighttime to be wearing shade glasses? Do you know how low your IQ has to be? I mean, I don't even think it's I don't even think you would register a number. This dude's outside. It's nighttime. He's got shades on. Of BLM, right? And they was living amongst. If somebody was to wear a shirt from this incident, this reminds you of Black Lives Matter because you remember all that money. They bought $1 million homes, like the founders of BLM, right? And they was living amongst white people. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, you wouldn't put a mansion in the black community. You could get robbed. I mean, you setting yourself up. Yeah. Hey, yeah. That whole slogan, Black Lives Matter, anybody would agree with that. But all lives really matter. But the money that they was raising, people thought they was actually going to give it to black people in impoverished neighborhoods and people that needed a car or people needed a place to stay to help them find a job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm trying to find it, guys. Yeah. You buy, shut up. Whenever you buy something, you get.
Me and try to do.
It takes no effort to do that.
They put in the title of the video, TikToker threatens white people that he will poke them in the heart like Austin. Now, come on. You white folks know exactly what I said. I said, if any white person approached me and tried to do physical harm to me, you will end up like Austin. That's what I said. And I said that's on self-defense.
Anyways, bro. I'm just looking for something here real quick, guys. You know I'm never ready, right?
Because they secretly despise and hate white people and want revenge for what they believe is still a wrong way back in slavery.
Stunning developments in a tragic story out of Texas that grabbed attention across America. I'm talking about the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco, Texas track meet, allegedly at the hands of 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony. Now, since the incident on April 2nd, details and events surrounding this story have been unbelievable. Here's the latest. Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, was targeted by a swatting call last night. Frisco police say officers responded to a gunshot call at Metcalf's home. No one was home at the time, but Jeff arrived 5 minutes later. All of this happening after that despicable scene yesterday where he was escorted by police out of the press conference held by Karmelo Anthony's family. My next guest has been following all of these developments closely. He's former Tucson police officer and host of the Officer Tatum Show. It's Brandon Tatum. Brandon, thanks for being with us here today. You've been following.
Very despicable what we've seen so far, and it just speaks to the underlying underbelly of racism that still exists in this country, perpetuated by Black people, in my personal opinion. I made a statement on one of my videos to tell Metcalf's father, quit capitulating to these Black people because they do not want to be your friend. A lot of them who are associated with this incident, that's giving money in the GoFundMe, who's representing the family, they secretly despise and hate white people and want revenge for what they believe is still a wrong way back in slavery. So it is turning south as the capitulation continues. But another thing that I find is going to be very problematic is that you have people that are pushing disinformation that makes it appear that this is a self-defense claim. And I do not think that this kid has a chance at self-defense, which is going to be horrible for him at the end of the day.
That does seem to be what the claim will be made when it gets to the court. But in the public opinion or in the public sphere, Brandon, you're right. We're already seeing comparisons made. In fact, Dominic Alexander did it yesterday at that press conference. He made comparisons to, for example, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, that has to be the most asinine thing that you can even try to express. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked. He was chased down, cornered. A guy tried to take his weapon. He shot him. Another person tried to use a deadly weapon against him, which was a skateboard at the time. He ended up shooting him, and another person pulled a gun on him. And what else could he have done but protect himself lawfully in a place that he belonged? This is a very different situation. You have a young man who brought a knife to a track meet, which is already illegal, bringing a knife on the premise of a sporting event. And then you have the person, obviously, with the evidence that we have so far, is premeditating a stabbing because he has his hands in the bag and he's telling them, touch me and see what happens. You only need a split second to develop premeditation. So if you have a plan that you're going to use a weapon against somebody, before you use the weapon, that's premeditation. And not utilizing equal force against a person is another uphill battle for him. Someone pushing you does not necessitate you to use deadly force against them. In no world is that legal, especially not in the state of Texas.
Let me ask you a question, in your opinion, Brandon, of Dominique Alexander. That press conference, I think we both agree, was absolutely appalling. He managed to butcher not just regular English grammar, but he managed to butcher the facts, for example, of Kyle Rittenhouse case. How does someone with not just his inabilities, but his criminal record become a voice in the public eye for someone like the family of Karmelo?
Mental illness. It's a normalization of mental illness.
This is just a continuation of the manipulation from Black leaders to just pimp out these families for money. This man is not qualified whatsoever. And I can put my life on it that the defense team is literally want to throw up thinking about this guy litigating or putting information out in the public, and he's an idiot. He can't even say defense. What did he say? Self-defense. The other day he said self-defense. He don't even know how to say self-defense. And then also, I think what his objective is, and people may be missing this, is that they want to get the public to be on their side in order to taint the jury pool. Because as much disinformation they can put out there, as much sympathy they can garnish from the surrounding public, when it's time to do jury selections, they're going to have a lot of people that have sympathy towards Karmelo Anthony, which could create a hung jury situation. But this gentleman who has a criminal record is not a fair and good representation for this family. I actually feel sorry for that little boy. Well, not that the fact that he killed somebody, but that they're thrusting him into a position that I don't think he wants to take. Karmelo Anthony should take a plea deal, because anybody that's thinking he's going to win in a defense claim in court is in for a rude awakening. And it's just very sad, this whole thing. One kid is dead.
It's very sad.
Another kid is going to probably spend his rest of his life in prison. And then you have these people pimping the family out to make as much money as they can and leave them high and dry at the end of the day.
And if the cost be racial division in this country, then so be it. That's the cost of these actors, these grifters. Brandon Tatum, thank you so much for talking about this case with me here today.
So that was Brandon Tatum talking about this guy here. And here's the rap sheet. Bam. Dominic Alexander. Criminal history involving felony charges. Allegations of violent assaults, including beating a baby nearly to death and assaulting women. He's been a long proponent of defunding police and is close to a member of one of the squad. Oh, so he's connected to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which the Puerto Rican people reject. All right. So that's the other one. The other one. All right. Dominic Alexander, fraud, domestic violence, violently shaking. Dominic Alexander violently shook the baby and almost killed the baby. Okay. He's a piece of shit. You guys are giving him money. The case is a moral firestorm, and they're trying to create it into a race thing. It's not a race thing. Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf never met each other before that fateful day. And then it's just like Tatum said, they're pimping out this family for profit, and it's very sad. So Karmelo's team is pushing self-defense claim, but legal experts say it's very shaky. Bringing a knife to the track meet doesn't scream victim. Prosecutors are gunning for a grand jury indictment, and a trial could be months away. The Anthonys have moved Karmelo to an undisclosed spot, likely funded by the donations, while Frisco stays divided. Will the family face fraud claims, or is this just public outrage? We'll keep digging into the scam as the story unfolds, guys. Thank you so much for joining me and being patient with me today, this morning. My name is Trigger No Safety, and this was episode 5 of Triggered with Trigger.
What you talking about, Willis? Saying when you hear my music, you saying you don't feel it. You saying I ain't the realest. My name is Trigger No Safety. Look me up, bitch, I'm amazing. I hop in the foreign and bailing, making $1,080,000. I just got a faded, I'm faded. I'm always switching on the fadeaway. I'm seeing better in the shade. I see when hate filling up your face. Well, motherfucker, that's okay. I'm finna get it anyways. Benjamin Franklin is in the bang. Benjamin Franklin is in the bang. It's maximum gas and it's in the tank. I'm in Puerto Rico, I'm in the